it's awful, but I need to lose more weight, and I feel like if I was in hospital then at least they'd make me eat something I can't do myself. But I would be bored, lonely and depressed, and I know that. I'm so torn because I do want to be able to eat. So this was a thing that like never changed, and I feel like even in the depth of your eating disorder, like the worst of your eating disorder, there was still a part of you that wanted to just be normal and just wanted to eat, because I feel like everyone is the same. I would be very surprised if there was someone who has an eating disorder that not one tiny piece of them, even 1% of them, wants to go back to being normal. Like, I'm pretty sure no one 100% likes where they are when they are this mentally ill. There's always a little piece of your humanity trying to push through, I feel like, and tell you that what you're doing isn't healthy. I want to get better, but right now I don't. I was agitated and angry all the drive to the hospital. That is something I do not miss. I was so agitated and angry, and like I said a couple of pages back, the fun is sucked out of life when you are not eating, because you don't realise how much of a mental thing eating is. Like, it really damages your brain and your health if you're not eating. Like, your brain can't function properly, and my dietitian always used to tell me that. But also, I just didn't have anything to look forward to. Like, if I wasn't looking forward to food, then what was I looking forward to? Because it's just an automatic thing that we always do. Like, we need to eat. We've been doing it every day since we were born. It's just something that we don't think about. But when you stop something so important, like, your whole life kind of just changes, and like, you don't know what to do with your time. Even walking into the room that the assessment took place, I found myself unmotivated to talk to these people, which is not like me. I'm very open, and I always talk to people about my feelings, even if they don't want to listen. I was unsure if they could even help me. There's so many side notes, but there is a lot of explaining that I need to do, because there's so much that I didn't write down that I feel like is important that you guys hear. I remember I was walking up to the hospital, and I was like pacing, but I remember I said to my mum and my dad, I was like, what's the point? I don't think they're going to help me anyway. Like, they're not going to be able to tell me to eat, and I'm just going to miraculously eat. Like, after 2.5 years, obviously I didn't think that one appointment was going to change everything, but I didn't realise that I'd gotten so ill and so fed up with my eating disorder that I just needed that final push. And then that side of me that was fed up just came out and decided to take control, and that's why I wanted to recover. But it went well. I cried so many times today, but it was an emotional and scary day. I think I cried about 5 times that day, like full on cried, like in separate like occasions. I was officially diagnosed with anorexia. I never thought I'd get to this point. I'm not skeletal and hospital ill, but they said that I'll be in hospital if I carry on like this. I was skeletal and I was hospital ill. I just didn't think I was because I was ill. Scary, I know, but I don't know how I would feel about being in hospital. My eating disorder would like that. It would mean that she's winning. Oh my god, I really hope this Instagram account I like to do turns out well. I have 9,000 followers now on that Instagram account. What? And that is the reason that I have this YouTube video, because I started on my Instagram. How crazy. I write in here that I hope my Instagram goes well, and because of my Instagram account, I'm now reading this back to a YouTube channel. I just feel like I could recover in a few weeks and end up eating anything. Then not only would I feel like a fake, but also I'd be back in that circle. Oh, I see. So I was just constantly stuck in fake recovery all the time. Like, I'd have like a month where I didn't eat properly. Now I'd have a couple weeks where I didn't eat properly. I'd get sick of it. I might even have a couple months then after that where I would just eat whatever I wanted, but my eating disorder thoughts were still there, and I never recovered fully up until this point. And I was scared that if I went into hospital, that cycle would just continue, and that it would mean that I was like a fake to recovery and also to my eating disorder. Yeah, and I don't want to be back in the vicious circle of fake recovery. Therefore, I'm focusing on not going too much over my meal plan. Also, my eating disorder wants me to be as ill as I can be. Anything below that isn't enough, and I know that. But she's there because I am ill. I'm torn, but let's see how exciting food can get. Let's do this, because if my eating disorder wins, I lose, and I don't want to lose. No, I bloody didn't. So even after that eating disorder assessment, I was still a bit like, oh god. 25th of January, so 2 days after, oh no, 1 day after, because this was 12:25 AM, so 1 day after I was diagnosed. I remember this so clearly because, oh, I was thinking so strictly about my meal plan. I had a wobble today and couldn't eat tea. This was the first wobble I think I'd had. Every point up to here, I'd eaten every snack and meal in my meal plan. If it was, say, snack, I'd have a banana or a yogurt, whereas now I might have something more filling, something more fatty, more sugary, more calorific. I had a wobble and couldn't eat tea, but I had a snack and pudding afterwards, so it's fine. It's not like I can go back to normal eating like I used to be able to, but recovery feels real this time. I thought it was weird that I've only been proper anorexic for a month, maybe even less, and to recover now is too early, but I've been borderline for years and I deserve this. That's so true. Yeah, again, I just didn't feel ill enough. Like, that's so sad, because it does not matter if you have enough symptoms to be classed under the label of an anorexic or bulimic or any mental illness. If, like, I get so many messages from people who say they're struggling but they don't have enough symptoms to be diagnosed, or they don't have a diagnosis, so they don't feel like they have a right to recover. If you are unhappy, and obviously if you're messaging me, and it's obviously something that's worrying you, and if it's worrying you, you're unhappy, and if that's the case, then you deserve to recover. Like, you deserve to be like everybody else. If you even have just one bad thought, like a day, you shouldn't have that. Like, you should be normal. Think back to your, like, mentally healthiest stage. You should be like that 24/7. Like, you deserve to be like that. Obviously, you know, life's not easy. You're not going to be like that all the time, but you always need to work towards that. So there is no such thing as not ill enough, and that's really something that people are starting to recognise now. I just feel like the patients know it more than the healthcare professionals know it at the moment. And that is really sad, because it means that even though we think we deserve help, we're not being given the help, which then makes us question it. Like, it was the same for me. I actually went to a doctor and I told him I thought I had an eating disorder a couple of years before I was diagnosed. And he said I didn't. And I was like, huh? Excuse me? I haven't told you any of my symptoms. I haven't explained anything. All I said was I think I have an eating disorder when my symptoms are at its worst. And he was like, that's where you're wrong. He's not my doctor anymore. So many doctors are like that when it comes to mental health. And I think it's just a lack of education, and I feel like our generation is going to be so much better. Plus, I've learned that you're still just as sick when you're recovering. You still got the illness. It's just got less of a control. I thought I'd find it slightly easier than this, but there's nothing wrong with that. 6th of March 2017. Eating wise, things are still getting better. Anxiety wise, it's still a bit of a struggle. I'm feeling so anxious for no reason that I think I might ring mum. My anxiety was so bad I went for a stage where I think every single day for like a week I phoned my mum, like in tears every night. 17th of March, working on my anxiety. A big one is this final project that we have at college. I didn't end up doing that because I had to make up my mind in February when I was still really ill, and it wasn't until June, but they needed an answer by February, so even though I was better by June, I didn't know that I was going to be better, so I had to say no. So yeah, I missed out on performing at the O2 in Oxford. I think we're nearly at the end. 26th of April, 3 months and 3 days after I was diagnosed. Life's up and down at the moment, but not too bad overall. I've been struggling with my eating again, for the first time having a mini relapse. I'm not trying to lose weight, but my eating disorder is making me have no interest in food in general, which is making eating hard. But I will beat this. Bad days are expected, but I was doing so well, I don't want to give up now. I'm hoping that this will be one of the last times that I try to lose weight, but I'm still eating a bit, so I'm improving even if I do feel like I'm having a relapse. But if I try to lose weight and give up recovery, then I will never beat this. I started tablets for my anxiety, which did get really bad but now has improved. I just can't wait to be put on more tablets. I think they'd put me on like a small dosage just to start me off with, but it wasn't really enough to kind of take the edge off. And then June the 11th, I said I had a lovely day at Wantage Carnival with my sister, my dad, and his then girlfriend. Music's going okay. I'm trying to write and perform more, work on confidence, trying to keep up the motivation to remember to eat, but I know I'll get there eventually. And that is it. This is probably like the longest I've ever filmed. I think I've been filming for like an hour and a half. Definitely gonna have to make this into 2 videos. But yeah, that's it. It's kind of annoying that I didn't really keep tabs until I got really better, but by June, which is when this last entry was, I was pretty much, like, for the majority, I was recovered. That was June 2017. But yeah, thank you for watching this video. Sorry for this awful setup. I do hope that this video helped some of you to either, if you don't know a lot about eating disorders, to understand more, or to at least motivate you and to show you that if things were that bad for me and now we're fine, things will get better for you. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video.